Hello, this is Robin with Art and Gifts, and today we're going to paint a sunflower in a vase. I've sketched on the pattern. If you private message me your email, I'd be happy to send you a tracer. And we're going to be using a couple yellows, a tan, a brown, some green. And we're just going to have fun. This is little fun art, not fancy art. We're going to be using a medium round and a wide brush. We'll need some water. You'll need something for a palette. You could use a paper plate. I'd cover a tray with tin foil. And I use it over and over and over. I'm going to put an apron on because I'm not very neat. And I've protected the table. All right, let me just get my apron on and we'll get going. Now, sort of with a nod to Ukraine and the terrible atrocities happening there, I'm going to do some blue stripes, then we're going to cover them with white so it's more subtle. Then we're going to paint the table tan. Then we're going to paint the insides of the sunflower. We're going to dab some brown on there, and then we're going to highlight it and then deepen the center. So that's where, then we'll do the leaves. So that's where we're going to start. So I'm going to get some blue. This is Bimini blue, but you could use any blue. Don't need a whole lot. We're going to need some white afterwards. Put some white there. I'm going to dampen my brush and pat it on the paper towel so it's not too wet. And how I'm going to use this, I've just covered the tip, and I'm going to have this almost straight up and down and just do some lines. Just like on the wallpaper there was some little little bits. Then I'm going to take the white and go right over it and sort of mute that out. I'm not covering everything. I'm just going here and there and muting that just so it looks like some sort of interesting wallpaper in the back. Just done a few lines and then covered them with white. Now we're going to get the tan and we're going to do the table. And the brush stroke we're going to use for the table is horizontal, back and forth this way. I'm going to go around the base, the vase. And I'm using the tan for this. If you want a different color table, you may do that. And we're just going to go around this and then go horizontal. Just going to kind of edge around it and then go back and forth. Back and forth. This is my mixed media pad. You could do this on canvas. And you can do this as small as a greeting card or as large as a 16 by 20. It's when you private message me, just let me know what size you want it so I send you the right size. And if you get size that wasn't what you wanted, you can use Blockbuster. It's called Blockbuster, and increase the size. Just going to add a little paint to my brush because that was dragging. Then with the brown still in my brush, I'm going to get a little bit of white and the brown And I'm going to go in the center area. More white. Because this water might be reflecting some of the table. And you can still see the stems that I drew earlier, so that's fine. Now we're going to switch to the round brush, and we're going to go into brown, like a dark brown. This one's called nutmeg, but any, medium to dark brown. We're going to put some on here, and we're going to tap, but we're not like 90-degree angle. We're going to hold the brush at an angle and tap on these. And it's going to, these have those little seed pods. Anybody enjoy eating sunflower seeds? I love them. We'll go to the next one. And we're just using kind of the side of the brush, and we're tapping those on. Just tap, tap, tap. There's one last one. And if you're looking at these, you can see they're facing different directions. And they probably would if you stuck them in a vase. Now I'm going to get a little white. And I'm going to add a little white. And since it's still wet, it's going to blend a little bit. And we're doing like an arc. Just a little arc. And I'm just tapping. Just a little highlight. Just a little highlight. Now we're going to go into the green. And if you have a darker green, that would work. This hasn't been opened yet. So to get this little plastic, I'm twisting it opposite than the way you would open it, and it usually comes right off. This is top notch, but any of these craft acrylics, there's a lot of different brands.
There's mine.
And I'm going to just paint in these leaves. And once I have the outline, I'm going to kind of paint from the center out. Kind of gives it the illusion of having those veins. And if you wanted a serrated leaf, you do the same thing, but you just bring it out. But I want nice smooth leaves today. So I'm going to do it that way. So I'm going to just outline in the leaf. And then I'm going from the center to the sides to sort of indicate those veins. And we have one more here. Of course, you could add more if you wanted more. Kind of just getting the outline established, and then I'm kind of going from the center to the sides. Now we're just going to fill in this whole area with green, and it'll be covered up with petals. But if the petals don't totally overlap, it'll look like there's some greenery there. And you just want this filled in. It doesn't really matter which direction you're going. You just want it to look like there's other greenery back here. dark gray. We're going to mix a little bit of black, which of course I don't have out here. Sorry about that. Let's see if there's any right here. Oh, there's some black, I think. I'm going to mix a little bit of black with the white. And we're going to outline the vase. Probably don't need much, there's not much in here. I've got to put that on the list. This one's folk art. You can see I have a variety of craft paints here. I have the apple barrel, folk art, Americana, top notch. You can use a variety. Alright, so we're going to get some black and mostly white and make it gray. We're going to outline this vase. And I'm kind of using the tip of my brush to do that, more like up and down. Okay, then I'm going to add even more white and go over that back line and over some of these. And lots of white on this back one because that should be kind of barely visible. Good. Now we're going to take some brown and put in some stems. And go behind that. And when you hit the water, when you get to the base of the water, just move over a little bit. Because there's that, what's the term? Deflection, I think it's called. Just come over a little bit. I've got 3 in here. You can put a few more because maybe the leaves are on their own stem. Okay, good. Now, we're going to paint the petals. This is what we have so far. I'm going to put in some petals. We want to make sure this is dry, so I'm just going to hit it with the blow dryer for a few minutes. Now some sunflowers are what they call singles, and like there's one row of petals around the brown part, and some have doubles, so there's a layer of like a darker yellow petals, and then like in between there's a lighter row, so you can decide which you want. But we're going to base coat all the petals in with white because we're going over green. Yellow is very translucent. So I'm going to get the white and I'm going to go right up on here. I'm going to squish it down and bring it out. And I'm going to put these right next to each other. Now put it down and bring it out. This is like base coating. out, and I'm trying to have these bottom ones touch where it meets the where the seeds are. I'm trying to have that touch. The base of them touch each other. The base of the petal touch each other. And yours don't have to look like mine. A lot of times they curve in funny ways. Sometimes they go the opposite direction. Sometimes they curve around. So you make your petals your petals. And you can turn this. I'm pushing down, and as I pull out, I'm lifting up. This is the round brush. I'm pushing down at the base of the brown, and as I come out, I pull up. Pushing down, and then I pull up. Pushing down and pull up. Now I'm making these petals maybe an inch, inch and a half. You can do yours long if you want. If you want longer petals, you can certainly do that. But this mixed media, it's probably, I think it's 7 by 10. I don't know why they don't make them 8 by 10 like they do canvases, but it's 7 by 10. And we got one more here. And it might be some of the petals have to go over each other, and that's fine. I'm going to get a little more white. Got that one a little thick. This might be fun. It might be very fun to add some texture medium to these and make them like more three-dimensional. That might be very fun indeed. Now this ones that are coming straight at us, they might be a little bit shorter in perspective. And you'll have to decide which ones are going over each other. Now I might do a combination. I'm going to start with a little darker yellow. If you just have a medium yellow, you could do the base petals with that and then add white to it for the second set if you're doing 2 layers. I'll do it over here. Just putting those on right where I did the first ones. And if you miss a little bit, that's okay. See how much better that goes over the green since we base coated it? And you can turn your paper if you need to. I've seen some people actually put their their canvas or their paper on like a spice carousel, so it's easier to turn. I've never done that, but this is something worth trying. And our last one. There's a lot of thick white here, so I'm just going to say that's where the sun is hitting at. The light is hitting these. So then if you wanted to come back, you could either add some white, if you wanted a second layer. I might just do a few. And you go right in between the other petals, and these would be shorter. If you wanted, you don't have to do this. Sometimes with the smaller canvas, it just looks too busy. Adding white, going right in between and making them smaller. I love sunflowers. I think I'm going to leave the back one alone. But I am going to go back into the brown and try to make the very center darker. Try to make part of this area darker. Now what I'm going to do is do some white, a tiny bit of blue, mostly white, kind of fill in where the water is. You do a little bit up here where this is. Add some water to your brush so it looks watery, because we are doing water. And we want those stems to look like they're inside. Then we're going to go back and make a very pale gray. We're going to make some swishes from the side over towards the center. Kind of make that face look round. Get some white with the black, just a little bit. Just kind of, that's too dark. We're going to make that lighter. Yellow one. Rinse your brushes, people. Don't do what I did. right over the center. Across the branches, that's okay. So we want to make it look three-dimensional. There. And then what we might like to do is get some of the tan. We might have a few petals that hit the ground. This is going to be like a shadow area. And then we want to do a shadow under the base, but then mostly tan, just a tiny bit of brown, so it's slightly darker. And we're going to sort of outline the bottom. And then go out a little bit. You can wet your brush. So it kind of extends. And we might put some yellow petals just like they fell off. Happy with this right there. I'm going to put a little bit of brown around it because it got too light there. That's better. And that concludes our little sunflower painting. I hope you liked it and enjoy it. And have a wonderful day. Thanks for stopping by Art and Gifts.